So we are now in day 11 of Donald Trump's Iran war. And the question is, what is this costing the country, our country? First and foremost, it has cost the lives of 7 service members. That is the highest price we are paying. With the loss of these brave, courageous service members, the impact on their families, the impact on their communities, that is an incalculable cost. I watched yesterday the dignified transfer ceremony on television. It was the ceremony where they transferred the remains of the 7th of the service members lost into a vehicle where he would be transported. It was a powerful reminder, a powerful testament to the real cost of war, those 7 lost lives. Of course, you have the lives of others that are lost in the region, both in Iran with the loss of lives, for example, of kids at a girls' school, but also you have the loss of lives in Israel and in the Gulf states as this conflict has broadened. But in terms of American taxpayers, there are also lots of costs here at home because the war is costing about $1 billion a day. One estimate, around $890 million a day. So what are we getting for that $890 million a day? What are we spending that on?
Operations are clocking in at $30 million a day for the air portion of all of this. Naval maneuvers at $15 million a day. Ground operations at $1.6 million. All those explosions, the bombs, missiles, artillery, about $1.5 billion in just the first 100 hours. And those interceptor units to stop Iranian missiles and drones, $1.7 billion in that time.
You add it all up and it's about $1 billion a day. So what is the opportunity cost? That is, if we weren't at war with Iran, if we were spending that $1 billion a day instead on investing in America, what could we buy? Well, let's look at just one metric. I've been on the phone with hospital CEOs that are at risk of closing. I've been visiting hospitals throughout California. Many of them are barely hanging on. Communities in rural areas are at risk of losing their hospitals. There are new hospitals that need to be built. Well, building a new hospital costs about $100 million on average. So if we're spending $1 billion a day in Iran on this war, that is 10 hospitals we could be building every day. We're effectively dropping 10 hospitals on Iran every day. That's the cost. That's the lack of investment that results from spending all this money on war. When you look at the Afghanistan war and the Iraq war, that was trillions of dollars. Imagine if that had been invested in the country. And now we have this open-ended war with Iran. We don't know how long it will last. Here's Trump saying it's going to be over in a matter of days. Of course, he said that at the beginning of this conflict. Here he is saying, well, maybe that's not true. It could go on for weeks.
And we have, right from the beginning, we projected 4 to 5 weeks. But we have capability to go far longer than that.
Just yesterday, he said, could be both. Not really sure exactly how that's supposed to work.
Mr. President, you've said the war is, quote, very complete, but your defense secretary says this is just the beginning. So which is it, and how long should Americans be prepared
I think
for
you could
this war
say
to
it
last
both.
for?
So we don't know how long this conflict is going to last, how much of your money is going to be spent on it. And of course, it's not just your taxpayer dollars being used for bombs and not hospitals. It's also the cost of living has gone up as a result of this war. The most visible price hikes are at the pump.
Gas prices are up an average of 50 cents per gallon following President Donald Trump's attacks on Iran over a week ago, according to AAA data. Experts warn that if the conflict in the Middle East continues, the cost could climb by another 50 cents before the month's end.
The average price at the pump now throughout the country is about $3.50 a gallon. In some places, like in my home state of California, it is about $5.30. So you're paying a lot more at the pump, and the reason is that they're bombing oil facilities in the Gulf. We're bombing Iranian facilities, or Israel is. Iran is bombing oil facilities in other Gulf countries. The Strait of Hormuz has practically closed down, and that's where a large portion of the world's oil supply transits. And it's not just the price at the pump that is going up. The cost of other materials, in which petrochemicals play an important role, are also going up.
The American Farm Bureau is warning that the Iranian war is driving up the price of fertilizer for farmers across the nation.
That means costs for farmers, already high because of Trump tariffs, are going up even more, which means grocery prices, which are already going up and high, are going up further.
New challenges are rising for American families struggling to pay for 3 square meals a day. The latest numbers show there is no relief from inflation on essential groceries.
Your healthcare costs have already gone up because of Trump's big ugly bill and all the massive cuts to Medicaid and the Affordable Care Act.
Welcome back. Health insurance costs are going up this year. Tax credits that help low-income families afford their insurance plans on the federal marketplace have now expired after Congress failed to pass a bill to extend them.
So we're not building hospitals. We're dropping them on Iran. We're not bringing down gas prices. They're going up exponentially at the pump. Grocery prices not coming down. They're going up also because of added cost to the inputs for our farmers. And of course, the president doesn't want to hear about any of this, doesn't want to think about any of this, because he thinks the whole affordability thing is a hoax. Here he is.
The word affordability is a con job by the Democrats. Affordability is a hoax that was started by Democrats.
Well, it's not a hoax. And people are seeing it and they're feeling it and they're wondering why we're in this war to begin with. We've had multiple conflicting explanations from the administration. We were doing it because Iran was 2 weeks away from a bomb, except that they weren't. We were doing it because they had missiles that could hit the United States soon, but they don't. We were doing it because we want a regime change, but now we say we don't. It has been the most bizarre series of never-ending conflicting rationalizations for the war. Now, Donald Trump might not care that your grocery prices have gone up. He's probably not aware of it, eating as he does at his country clubs or on the taxpayer dime. He's about as oblivious to food prices as, well, as she is.
I mean, it's one banana, Michael. What could it cost? $10?
You've never actually set foot in a supermarket, have you?
I don't have time for this.
So after all those promises that he was going to stay off the golf course, unlike all of his predecessors who spent too much time on the golf course.
I love golf. I think it's one of the greats, but I don't have time. 250 rounds, that's more than a guy who plays on the PGA Tour plays.
Obama ought to get off the golf course and get down there.
Everything's executive order because he doesn't have enough time because he's playing so much golf. He doesn't have enough time to convince Congress to do it.
Where is Donald Trump during the Iran war? That's right, you guessed it, on the golf course.